So Ghislaine Maxwell is doing exactly what I predicted was going to happen yesterday. She's going to be asking for a retrial or a pardon because Donald Trump claimed in a social media post over the weekend that the Epstein files and the Epstein list was one gigantic hoax created by Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and James Comey. So Ghislaine Maxwell was handed a golden ticket by Donald Trump for a retrial because she's going to argue, well, if the president of the United States, who controls the FBI and the Department of Justice, says that everything related to Epstein was one gigantic hoax, then why was I charged and convicted and sentenced as a co-conspirator of Epstein if it was one gigantic hoax? Now, I said the reason that Donald Trump made that post over the weekend after his Department of Justice claimed at the end of last week that there was no Epstein list at all and there was no Epstein files that were going to be released and the case was closed. I said Trump did that to, in my opinion, give Ghislaine Maxwell a golden ticket for a potential retrial in order to try to cover up the release of the Epstein list and the Epstein files and the Epstein clients and the other co-conspirators that I said Ghislaine Maxwell knows who those people.
You know, people are so dumb, bro, that they still supporting Trump or trying to like bypass Trump and blame it on Pam Bondi when you know Trump is the one that's controlling all of this shit. It's like, come on, bro. Why you think it's so obvious that he's on there? But these MAGA buffoons, they so motherfucking psyoped and delusioned that anything Trump do, bro. I'm talking about this is straight pedophile, PDF file shit. Like, come on. It's right there in your face. You let Trump tell you the sky is pink when you know it's blue.
People are. And I said, here's what Ghislaine Maxwell's going to do. And she's done each of those steps as I predicted. Number one, I said she's going to say, I want to testify before Congress. Let me reveal everything that I know. So that was the first move that she made. And then yesterday, the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives voted to block her testimony. They voted to block the release of the Epstein files. They voted to block even holding a vote in front of the full House of Representatives regarding the release of the Epstein files and the Epstein list. They voted to block the vote, okay? So after she made that move, I said that she was likely going to go out there and have an offensive campaign to try to get a pardon or a retrial. What we're seeing are people who she knows and MAGA influencers who are very close to Donald Trump and very close to Kash Patel. They're posting, give her a retrial, give her a pardon. I predicted that was going to happen. You remember my video yesterday. Let me go through what went down on that front. So the Trump White House new media reporter by the name of Jessica Reed Krause, she's pushing for a retrial or a pardon of Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Jessica Reed Krause, she was the one who wears that shirt, Free Ghislaine Maxwell, and she was invited to the White House in February when Pam Bondi and Donald Trump released those Phase 1 Epstein list.
Here we go. President Trump drawing a hard line for Putin to cut a deal and end the war in Ukraine or face new tariffs.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us with more. Hey, Peter.
Good morning. And President Trump's new warning isn't just to Russia, it's to countries that buy a lot of stuff from Russia, including China and India. And it is that in 49 days, there will be new 100% tariffs on people either directly or indirectly funding the Russian war effort if Putin doesn't pull back.
One of the reasons that you're here today is to hear that we are very unhappy, I am, with Russia. Very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means.
President Trump's change of strategy reflects a feeling of betrayal from Vladimir Putin, who the president says will tell him one thing on the phone in private and then order something completely different.
Bro, now he finna get his man 50 more days to bomb these people. Like, Trump, like, what are you doing, bro? You so motherfucking scared of, you scared of Putin or you worship the dude? One of the two. Cause this shit don't make no sense. This, the Epstein shit, like, how the fuck do this man still have supporters, bro? It don't make sense. And Putin, he gonna keep bombing their ass. And when the 50 days come, like, come on, bro. When the 50 days come, he gonna push it back, and he gonna live up to his name, Taco Trump. Come on, man.
On the battlefield in Ukraine.
We thought we had a deal numerous times. I'd get home, I'd say, First Lady, I had the most wonderful talk with Vladimir. I think we're finished. And then I'll turn on the television, or she'll say to me one time, wow, that's strange because they just bombed a nursing home.
I know this ain't part of the thing, but look at his face. It's like he's peeling. And they don't want to talk about that, how this motherfucker deteriorating. But they always talk about Joe Biden, how he was fucked up and shit.
I said, what? So, we don't like that.
The Financial Times is reporting this morning that two sources have told them during a phone call on July 4th, President Trump asked Zelensky if he could hit Moscow and St. Petersburg deep in Russia if the U.S. gave Ukraine the right weapons. According to this story, Zelensky said that they could if they had the right weaponry. We've reached out to White House contacts for further details on that. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Peter. You know, it's interesting to see Moscow's reaction.
The American people deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to this whole sordid Jeffrey Epstein matter. Democrats didn't put the Jeffrey Epstein thing into the public domain. This was a conspiracy that Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and these MAGA extremists have been fanning the flames of for the last several years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries weighing in on the Jeffrey Epstein saga that continues to be a major focus for President Trump's MAGA base. The president wants everyone to move on, but are prominent right-wing voices willing to let it go? Yep. We'll dig into that. Meanwhile, President Trump is taking a tougher stance with Russia, threatening sanctions and promising critical military aid for Ukraine. We'll look at what's behind this move. Plus, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is not giving up on becoming mayor of New York City. We'll have more about his run as an independent. And speaking of New York, a rough night for commuters after storms slammed the area. Look at this, causing flash flooding all over New York City, also parts of New Jersey. We'll have more on that as well. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It is Tuesday, July 15th. With us, we have the co-host of our fourth hour, contributing writer at The Atlantic, Jonathan Lemire, U.S. special correspondent for BBC News and the host of The Rest is Politics podcast, Katty Kay, and co-founder of Axios, Mike Allen. Meanwhile, some high-profile Trump loyalists who voiced concerns over the lack of transparency regarding the Epstein files are now apparently heeding the president's suggestion to just simply move on. At the Turning Point USA Student Action Summit, in Florida on Friday.
Wait, the ones that were screaming out weekend?
Well, this is it. Here's Charlie Kirk leading the charge.
They're really upset.
Yes. He's
children were molested and raped, and the truth had to come out.
Over 200, maybe 250, according to Pam Bondi.
It's a lot.
Well, here's Charlie Kirk talking about the administration's handling of the matter rather critically. Take a look.
Make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Raise your hand if it matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So every hand of 7,000 people.
Everybody cares.
A lot. I said a lot. Every hand.
That's a lot.
But now he's...
It's crazy, bro. Like, they can see people are pissed off about this shit, and they just fall right in line. This man get on there and say, well, I don't want to talk about it no more, because Trump told me not to. What? What? Come on, man. Like, where the fuck are your morals, your principles you be debating these kids about? Like, kids got raped and trafficked and shit. But y'all don't give a fuck about that. But I always want to talk about abortion. Like, y'all don't give a fuck about no life, bruh. Come on, man.
Says he is, quote, done with the matter.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend.
Balls in their hand.
Fox News host
trust them. Okay.
Laura Ingraham was also on stage at that Florida summit where she polled the audience about the topic.
Yeah.
How many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap. Okay, I told you to clap. You guys aren't listening. I'm not going to grade you on a curve. So I was going to get to that. How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation?
And then yesterday, she scolded other conservatives.
And they gonna just ignore all these people, bruh. And I say these people are fucking shameful, not shameless, they shameful. Just despicable ass human beings, bruh. That whole Republican MAGA party, they some despicable motherfuckers.
Influencers for discussing the matter. Take a look.
Now, as conservative influencers were eating their own about Epstein, the president was stealing the show on the one-year anniversary of the day he almost lost his life. He made a triumphant appearance at a global sporting event. Meanwhile, Democrats keep shooting in their own goal, stumbling from one embarrassment to the next.
You know, sometimes you get it wrong. Hey, as I've said here on this show, I get it wrong every day. Sometimes you make mistakes. You read something wrong. Most notably last year, after spending a lot of time with Joe Biden, I talked about Biden at his best. I got it wrong. Sometimes you change your mind and you see some facts. The facts change. You change your mind with those facts. That happens. But I must say, very rarely have I ever seen people going from a decade-long crusade against pedophilia, against sex abuse, against child exploitation, and making that almost a centerpiece of their existence, saying, when we get in power, we're going to release the Epstein files. When we get in power, we're going to be different. When we get in, we're not going to do what Joe Biden and his Attorney General Merrick Garland did. We're going to expose it all. And you go on your podcasts and you go on your podcasts and you go on your podcasts and you keep repeating that over and over again, or you go on Fox News, or you go on any of these other channels. And you say, we're going to do this. And then you have a weekend conference in Florida where everybody's enraged. What? Charlie Kirk said 7,500 people outraged by this. The truth must come out. And
that's what I'm saying. All these people mad, but Trump, they don't give a fuck about what y'all feel, bruh. They gonna do what they want to do, and all these Charlie Kirk and Laura Ingraham, they just gonna fall right in line. Nut riders. But yeah, that's the end of that, man. Check me out, like, subscribe, share if you like this. If you want to see more videos like this, reactions, just fuck with me. I'm be on here every morning. Peace.